Hi, it's Lisa Colon-Delay again. I'm going to be talking right now about metanoia. Now, some of you know metanoia as the Greek word that is usually translated as repentance. And I'm going to speak a little bit about David Bentley Hart's talk, which I will leave a link to in the description notes. And I wanted to bring to light a few of the things he said because I think it's really not just fascinating, but potentially life-changing as we see this concept of metanoia as we embody it and enact it in our own lives. So David Bentley Hart was giving a short talk, and he said that usually regret and reform, principally in the way of morals, is how we can often understand metanoia, is how it's often described to us. But he wanted to approach it not in a forensic way. He says metanoia is coming to see the truth, and choice becomes conforming to what is irresistibly good. So it is really a change. Metanoia is a change of heart. It can be a turning around. He says when Jesus says, when you've seen me, you've seen the Father. And when you've known me, you've known the Father too. With this idea of metanoia as encounter, there is a kind of judgment we invite on ourselves when we recognize or we fail to recognize some urgent truth that is directly confronting us. It's not our critical intellect at play, but an arraignment before a superior power and our own awakening to something that has made an immediate demand on us. And these are David Bentley Hart's words. I think a really profound way to understand this engagement with truth and beauty, which are the things of God, the transcendent things, the things of spirit. So Bentley Hart says a failure to see the face of Christ as the face of the Father is what can this failure can derail metanoia, and it is the ultimate criteria of truth. The ultimate criteria of truth is beauty, and it is beauty in this deepest way imaginable. He says there is a grace and a mystery of being, and when we see in others the face of God, the face of Christ, or the least of these, this is to be confronted with this truth that is impossible to pretend we haven't been confronted with before and forget that it happened. He says beauty elicits our delight in the purely attractive, not animal need or ethical obligation or epistemic submission. And it does so apart from any other imperative. This confrontation we have when we are sometimes even blindsided by beauty at this great depth. It could be beauty in another human being. It could be the beauty of the world, the earth. The experience of beauty, of whatever you want to call that, is to a transcendent horizon and one that we try to approach in our experience of the arts. But it is also the experience of judgment, and this judgment is passed on us because it calls us into something deeper, and we invite the judgment on ourselves that we are possibly not truthful or not beautiful enough at this deeper core level. Christ passes through history as a light that reveals what things truly are, and it's a reaction to that light, or our reaction to the Christ, and our ability or inability to recognize that light that shows us to ourselves. We change in order to see rightly the way things are. This is metanoia. Who and what we are and who we should be. To the least of these, those without resources, money, power, the rights that are due them, to see those people truly is to also see the Father in heaven. If we fail to have a true path to metanoia this way by failing to see them, The encounter with Christ is always an encounter that involves that kind of beauty. A calling to see God, and for Christians, there is a second calling beyond the call to see the transcendent. For Christians, it is always a calling to see the least of these. And if we have failed to do that, we have failed to encounter metanoia, a complete change of heart. We can imagine ourselves in the place of others as we embody and portray metanoia in our lives in real ways that are embodied. So metanoia is not just repentance, but a full change of life in response to the truth. I hope that was enlightening and insightful. Feel free to leave your comments if you'd like.